So I just came back from my very first solo trip, which was to Turkey, and that means that there is a lot of content that I have to edit and release. But in this video, we're just going to talk about day one of my trip. I had 5 full days in Istanbul, and the first few days I reserved for the city's must-see attractions, one of them being the Hagia Sophia. And that's right, it's pronounced Hagia Sophia, not Hagia Sophia. The Hagia Sophia was constructed in 537 CE and was originally used as a church. And later on in 1453 CE, when the Ottomans conquered Constantinople, which is modern-day Istanbul, they converted the church into a mosque, causing a debate that still goes on today about whether this building is a church, a mosque, or a museum. Now, there are 2 floors in this building, the main floor and the second floor. To access the second floor, you have to pay a fee, but to visit the main floor is completely free. And to be honest, I didn't get the point of being on the second floor because most of everything that you can see from the second floor, you can see from the main floor. There are some additional mosaics and paintings that you can see on the second level, but that's up to you if you want to pay that extra fee. I planned this trip in a way where each day I would be exploring a certain part of Istanbul, so I would use my time efficiently and not wasting my time on travel. And so our next stop after the Hagia Sophia is just a short walk away. On my short walk, I came across the obelisk of Theodosius, a monument that was actually created by a pharaoh in Egypt and was transported to Constantinople centuries later. After a quick 4-minute walk, I made it to the next destination, the Blue Mosque. The Blue Mosque is also known as the Sultan Ahmet Mosque, and it was constructed in 1617 by the Ottoman Sultan, Sultan Ahmet I. Now, what I really find amazing about the Blue Mosque is all the colorful windows surrounding the whole interior of the mosque. Also, the Blue Mosque has a lot of natural light coming into it compared to the Hagia Sophia, and it is in much better condition as well. But that's obviously because the Hagia Sophia is around 1,000 years older than the Blue Mosque. And just a fun fact, both the Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque are on the UNESCO World Heritage Site list. The Blue Mosque and all the other mosques have certain visitation times for the public to come and see inside the mosque, but the mosques are closed during prayer times, and that's where I got really lucky, because I came to the Blue Mosque at the afternoon prayer time, which meant I could go in and enjoy the architecture and also take part in praying in one of the most beautiful mosques in the world. So, staying within the Sultan Ahmet area, I took another 4-minute walk down to our next destination, which is known as the Basilica Cistern. And because the time now was around 3 p.m., the crowds were huge, the lineups were huge, and so this is where I tell you about the Istanbul e-pass. Now, this pass can be used to access museums and attractions and guided tours around the city at a discounted rate. You buy this pass according to the amount of days you're planning to stay in the city. So for example, I bought this pass for around 5 days and it cost me just a little bit over 200 euros. So the Basilica Cistern is Turkey's largest underground water reservoir. Around 336 marble columns were used in its construction. Now, because the cistern consisted of still water, when the Ottomans conquered Constantinople, they put the cistern out of use because Ottomans were Muslims and Muslims believe we can only use flowing water, not still water. But in most recent times, this cistern is being used as a museum and also sometimes as a movie set. And lastly, at the end of the cistern, you will find a upside down Medusa head. And the reason why it's upside down is because back in the day, they used to believe that if you looked into Medusa's eyes, you would turn into stone. And that's why they put it down upside down. So if you look into her eyes, you won't turn to stone. It's a weird superstition and you don't have to believe it, but that's what they used to believe. And right opposite to the upside down Medusa head, they actually have a statue of Medusa, which has a super cool shadow in the background. And that was our day 1 in Istanbul. Make sure you stick around to see all the adventures I had in Istanbul.